for it.
I told Ryan he's not allowed to come, so he's going to be sad that I actually.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming. So I'll do a little introduction. So I'm excited to introduce Mel Hall. She's the owner agent of Wild Prairie Real Estate, brokered by EXP. She's not just a real estate agent. She's also an investor with 2 successful short-term rentals right here in the Kansas City metro area. What's really cool is that Mel actually discovered real estate investing and kind of by accident. Mm-hmm. We'll talk a little bit about that tonight. But once she saw that was possible, she leaned in and built something incredible. So she describes herself as a small but mighty investor, and that energy really shines through everything that she does. So Mel's passion is helping people get into their first homes and then showing them a few smart, creative choices that can turn that first step into lasting stability and growth. Outside of real estate, she also gives back in a big way. So she's the board president of Botanical Belongings, and that's a nonprofit that brings communities together through projects that restore native ecosystems and help people reconnect with the land around them.
I almost brought everybody butterfly milkweed seeds, but I didn't know people would want it.
It's free swag, so.
Plant milkweed in your yard, please.
Well, everybody help me by welcoming Mel Hall. I really appreciate you coming in and talking with us. So
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. All right, so first of all, I always like to ask, and I want you to tell us a little bit about how you got into real estate investing and sort of that. You said you got into it by accident.
Kind of by accident.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm trying to think. It's always one of those convoluted stories. So part of it was I was renting and then realized the whole thing when I was looking for my next place that this is really expensive and it goes up every year and all of that jazz. And gosh, is that even where to start? Yes. So I talked to you about this, Angela, where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have money saved up for a down payment. But thankfully, when I was very young, I started a retirement account. And so the job that I worked at, the guy told me about the whole process of how you can take a loan out of your retirement to put a down payment on the house, and like walked me through that whole thing. And so I did end up buying my first home by myself like that. I had no financial education. I did not understand what a mortgage was. I had no idea what I was doing. I just was tired of my rent going up and heard that if you bought a house, you could like stop doing that. And because of my income at the time, I could only afford, am I allowed to cuss? Well, if cussing offends you, well, I cannot cuss, but if it offends you, like genuinely raise your hand and I'll respect that. But, so it just comes out. So I like to check.
No, you be yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So I like to check. Where was I at?
Yeah.
Huh?
Let the F-bomb slide.
Thanks. Where was I at?
You can only afford a house.
Yep.
Oh, it was the shittiest house in Olathe. And this feeds in it too. Unfortunately, the real estate agent that showed up when I called, she was really rude and very pretentious. And I could just tell I was a huge waste of her time. At the time, I didn't know. I could have just easily broke up with her and found someone else, but bought the house. And I didn't know that what I was doing was called a live-in flip. I grew up roofing with my dad, putting up walls with my dad, building decks with my dad. So living in a piece of shit house and fixing it up, it like didn't scare me. So long story short, skipping a bunch of the details, that first house that I bought was like overlapped during COVID time when things went crazy. And when I ended up selling that house, I made a very nice chunk of change. And that changed my life significantly because I paid down my student loan debt from the time that I was a pre-med that was prepping to go to a very nice college for a neuroscience PhD, which I was a mom. And after getting my pre-med done, I was like, I cannot miss more of my son's life. So I'm not doing that anymore. Switch gears, went a totally different way with my career. But it was just awesome because it paid off that student loan debt that I thought I was never going to get out from under. It changed my life.
That's awesome.
So that's how I learned about the power of real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we're going to dive more now into short-term rentals and things like that.
Let's do it.
So why between sort of the long-term buy and hold, why did you choose short-term rentals versus doing like a long buy and hold?
Can you put the next one on?
Yeah.
So, oh God, no one wants to see their stuff that big. So this was the first house me and my husband bought. Caveat, not a Dave Ramsey fan, not my kind of guy. But I learned a lot from going through his program, because when I met my husband, we were talking about it being really nice of waiting until your prefrontal is fully developed before you get married. I did that. So we married in the 30s, and I set the thing like, I'm not getting married if this also isn't a good business deal. And so he understood that was my expectation. We also do love each other. We have a great marriage. And so we did that to get on the same page financially. This is the first house we bought together. And, you have a double income at that point. That is life-changing. And so it was like, okay, I still want to do a little more. His youngest child is profoundly autistic. So we don't have 2 people to retire. We have 3. He will never be able to live by himself. And so we need to figure something out. And so his children are with their mom half the time and with us half the time. So what we did was we set up the home that we live in a very staged, nice way. And we had little packs. And so the weekends that his kids were with his mom, we visited family, we stayed with my parent, all that kind of stuff, and Airbnb'd our house out. And that's kind of how we tested the market without that even being it. We were just trying to hustle to bring in a little extra money. And it went so well. We were blown away. Every weekend was booked. We made really good money. And that goes into the whole thing, like what Dave Ramsey says about live like no one else so you can live like no one else. Like, that's the whole point of it. Some temporary discomfort for a short period of time can like really change things up. And that's the thing for people who are struggling. Times have changed a lot. It is actually really, really hard. My son's 22. The way that the world has changed with what people can make day to day, what they can afford, it's not fair. And then that message is kind of like going through social media. So I'm going to get off my little soapbox, I promise. But but I just wish more people would get that message, because sure, it's not fair, and you're still going to need to do something about it if you want to change your life. Okay, sure, done.
So this was basically your first short-term rental, is basically what you're saying, because you guys would move out of there and Airbnb it.
Yep,
that's awesome. Great. Well, and so now diving into the ones that you have 2 of them. So I always like to know, tell me a little bit about the first short-term rental experience. Like, what was that like? I mean, I guess you can use this as your first one. And tell us a little bit about sort of, were there any wins, early wins, and then challenges with it?
The challenges are like the typical stuff. Someone didn't realize the toilet was overflowing, and it like went so far that they didn't catch it where the living room ceiling soaked through. So we had to get that fixed. And then it's boring. It's like the typical stuff you would expect, but it does not happen enough to matter, in my opinion. To some people, it would just take one party in their home and someone destroying something to be like, I'm never doing this again. I'm like a fix it, put it back to how it was, and get back to making money. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I actually love hosting. So I know one of your questions is like, who manages it?
Yeah.
And he brought up the small and mighty. That's obviously a bigger pockets thing for people who are into bigger pockets. I love managing our properties. I have so much fun, like leaving nice things at the houses for the guests and talk, I'm not overbearing. I don't go on the properties, but all the things that go into the personalized messages, if the cleaners get done or if I clean and the house is ready early, I have a pre-drafted message that I shoot to them, and I'm like, hey, the house is done. Like, if you want to check in early. People love that stuff. So I love hosting.
Yeah. And I know you do all your property management.
Yeah.
And she does actually really good videos, or you did quite a few videos on your TikTok.
They started going viral, and it freaked me out, and I stopped posting. I was like, oh my God. The whole
you're not
world
supposed to stop posting.
No,
when they
I
go
know.
viral.
It was a weird response.
But I have her TikTok on here later in this, but she's got really good videos of like, this is the in the day of cleaning up an Airbnb. Like, let's see what we find after they left. So it's really good stuff there. So okay, so let's then talk about I guess normally I like to go dive into a property.
Yep.
So let's, I know you have some slides. Yep. So let's talk about a property that, how much you bought it for, how you bought it. I also want to put in there and ask about, did you find it? Is it an MLS or was it off market? So just sort of tell us, go through that whole process and tell us a little bit about that.
So when we were using our actual house to do that every other weekend thing, we were saving. And we got to the point where we were like, okay, we want to try this full time somewhere else. And we just were always looking. And my husband saw a little, like literally a little house in Overland Park and took me to go by to see it. And there was a cute elderly couple in the yard doing the yard work. And I was like, stop the car. And he was like, oh, I don't want to bother him. I was like, stop the car. So we got out, and I think like the day before, their contract with the person who had listed it expired, and she had never sold the house. So we did for sale by owner. So we just paid 20% down on 90 with an adjustable rate mortgage.
Okay.
And it is tiny. It is a studio home in this giant lot. So the owners that we bought it from, they used to own the house next door, and that was like one big lot, and they used that as a rental to do extra income. And they had at some point, whatever you do to make them two separate lots.
Yeah.
And kept that when they moved to a different house. So that had just been an investment property for them.
Okay.
And then I love a before and after. So I don't know if those are clear to everyone, but
you ripped up the
we
carpet.
were newer in our marriage. And so my husband was like, oh, we're going to buy this house and put furniture in it. And so after we signed the paperwork, he's like, let's start buying furniture. I was like, oh no, we have to like rip those walls, rip down that wall, put up top. Yeah. So we completely renovated the bathroom. You can tell ripped stuff out over there to make sure there's a washer and dryer and all
how
that.
much, do you know how much approximately like you put into a rehab?
I don't even have those numbers anymore, but my dad, me and my dad just did what we did. We got down and like did the sheetrock, and we did pay to get the floors done by professionals. But one of my college buddies, he is a real estate investor. So he came in from out of state to teach me for like the 15th. This poor guy, he's taught me how to tile 15 times, but there's always like a year gap. And I'm like, Chad, can you come back and show me how to do that again? So he got me started and did all the labor ourselves.
You mentioned buying in Overland Park.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously that was the location that you guys were looking at. What, besides it being Overland Park, were there specific things that drove you to that location that you really want? Like, was it rents that you guys were looking at, or sort of what research were you doing?
So the research that we did was we found a place in Kansas City that was similar. Some woman had a little studio in her yard, and it was a very big yard. So there was privacy, but it was set up very similarly. And so we went and we booked it and we stayed there and just saw what the experience was like. But then we did, I think we were just nosy and did it all manually, like how many of her nights were booked out. Gotcha. And what those nights were charging at. Like, it's basically like the manual way of doing Air DNA, but we just did it by ourselves.
Okay.
And then it was like, okay, so that's what she's doing. Based on what the mortgage is going to be on this, if we only rent it out a third of the nights, how much? 2/3 of the night,
sure.
3, and it's like, even if we only rented it out a third, the appreciation was good enough.
It's Overland Park.
Exactly. The appreciation was good enough, and we could float things if we needed to. So yeah, that's how we thought about it.
So studio home, so just bed, kitchen. There's not separate bedrooms, things like that. Okay.
Yep.
Super easy to clean.
Super easy to clean. Yep.
Nice. How much then is it for, talk a little bit about if I were to rent the place or Airbnb it, talk to me about.
Next one.
This one.
So the pricing changes. We have it, I put it there because I knew I always call it booking.com for some reason. Beyond pricing. That's the thing I'm always trying to remember how to say. So we keep it plugged into that, and it runs the numbers and then makes recommendations, and you go in and adjust it. And it ranges, we will never go under $90, but then depending if there's events going on, sometimes it goes up to like $230. So usually in the middle there. But what was your other questions?
Just about the rent, the nightly rent. And I asked, do you do dynamic pricing? So yeah. How are you doing? Are you getting bookings for World Cup yet?
I don't know because I don't know when it is.
You don't go. Well, you better start looking.
My husband,
next summer.
I'm sure,
Next
right?
summer. How far out do you book? How far out do you book?
So I've played with that a little bit, and I just took it back to 6 months.
Gotcha.
So I played with doing the 12-year thing or 12-month thing, and it's just not worth it. So I open it out for 6 months.
Just because the pricing may change?
Exactly.
Like that? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Tickets are on sale for the World Cup, or they're going on sale soon.
Okay.
So just think about that.
I'm cool with that.
Next summer.
I like a straggler. I'll let them.
Prices will be more expensive.
Yeah.
Matt.
Beyond pricing, is that just like a site you go to and you plug in your
And it integrates with.
your VO and your
Yep, it integrates with all of them. So our houses are on Airbnb and VRBO. You connect them all, and then it tracks what's going on. And then based off, I don't understand how it all works. I don't want to.
Some
algorithm stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it does take into account what's going on in the area overall, and then what's going on with your individual house, and then makes recommendations. It will recommend going down to $81 sometimes, but we experimented with it, and it was never worth it. Those, unfortunately, were guests that would show up and do unhinged things in the house. So we'd rather just not make the $81. So
sure.
Yeah.
So what then expenses are you? So you got $81 or $90 a night.
Mm-hmm.
Then what expenses are you paying? Because I know you do a lot of the cleanup and stuff, but you did mention cleaning service.
Okay, so I would say I clean now like 15% of the time.
Okay.
So I can tell you how I get down with that. But so the obvious stuff you'd think of. So we have the lawn guy. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Just go through your expenses.
Yep. There. Obviously the insurance, the lawn guy, and the fun maintenance stuff. Like this year, the little house needed plumbing work done. You know, that was a quick $12K. And then the mini split crapped out. That was another $8K, which I negotiated down from 11, which made me feel really great. But so that kind of stuff. What else?
Do you you run into any issues with like people that are renting the place and then like the plumbing craps out on them? Have you run into any of that, like having to relocate people?
Yes.
How does that go down?
Oh, I am a problem solver.
Yeah.
And so I think if you impress people with how you handle it, they're just so grateful that they know what they're doing by renting a place like that. And so, for example, what happened? I don't even remember what happened in the house, but I just remember I immediately went on Airbnb, saw 3 houses. One of them was in Prairie Village. That's where he ended up staying. And it was better than mine and it cost more than mine. And so I sent that to him and I was like, can I call Airbnb and get you switched over here? I'll cover the cost of it. Just, and it's so you just, that like real high level customer support so they know that you care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get your ratings.
And like if the electricity goes out, that usually happens once a year. So the electricity goes out and they are allowed to just cancel. Most people don't, but it's just being ready that they have the right to do that. And then you need to be willing to do something to help them.
Yeah.
Or I guess you don't, because I think Airbnb will actually handle it, but I will usually like go above and beyond, because I know when I'm on vacation, I wouldn't mind someone taking the mental load off.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
You can get a generator on it. Is that your next step?
That's a good idea.
Put a generator.
Are they expensive?
They can be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, for a small house like this, maybe not as much, but yeah, it's an expense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Go for it.
Does that say that you have 85%?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both. This whole thing works out pretty good if you stay on top of it. Yeah.
What do you prefer, VRBO or
Airbnb all day, every day? Because is this going on YouTube? I'm like, I don't know. I have
going on YouTube.
I have the most like love-hate relationship with VRBO. It is antiquated. Their customer service is god awful. All those little life things that just happen. I've had so many issues with them pulling my listing down and like canceling it because of something that was out of my control. And then when you're trying to have a conversation to like explain what happened, that's where my patience probably falls a little
Yeah.
short. I have like endless patience for the guests, but oh my God, VRBO drives me crazy. But the love part of the love hate is like, you'll see on the next one. So like, you see like usually we gross a little like around 4K a month in this one. But that 1 month, like I'm pretty sure those C4 bookings off of VRBO year to date, $5,000 almost. So like that fills in those little things. So those like random little times where Airbnb doesn't come in, it just comes in and fills those gaps.
And do you pay to list on those, right?
Oh, they take a cut. Yes.
Yeah, they take a cut.
And the VRBO fees annoy me because they're not transparent. It doesn't ever match up. So something about it feels sketchy to me, but I don't have enough time or patience to try to figure it out. So,
well, I'll hashtag them on YouTube and then
yeah,
we'll see if we can help you out. We'll see if we can get you some help out. Yeah.
It's that lady who's a
Be
bitch
better
on the
VRBO.
phone.
Yeah.
Close her account.
So I just like, from a technical standpoint, like you list on one or the other, or you have to list on both?
Both. And that's the other thing too. So both, and they're integrated as much as they can be. So Airbnb picks up when the other one does and blocks off, but now I'm worried I'm explaining it wrong. Yes, but there's some manual things you have to do. Like I think it's if I get a VRBO booking, I do have to make sure to go block it off on Airbnb so it doesn't get double booked.
Okay.
And I've made that mistake before.
Yeah.
And then I just
so
caught
one,
it as fast
one
as
will
I
talk
could.
to the other, but the other won't talk to
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
That's probably why some people just do Airbnb or just do VRBO. Okay.
Or why they need a property manager, because if you have a high demand job and that's happening in the middle of the day, it's gonna, you're gonna run into that problem. So,
Do you do keypad?
I do, and there's a new feature on Airbnb where it'll automatically set to the last 4 digits
of their phone number.
But that's been on my to-do list for a while, is like setting up that thing, because I've been manually just adding them to the Yale app.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's a pretty time consuming. It can be pretty time consuming, so it's silly that I haven't done it yet. I just haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what automations or systems do you find that you've used in your STR business that you find most useful that you can share?
The ones that I like the most are setting up all the pre-drafted messages. The thanks for booking our place. A day before your check-in, you're going to get a detailed thing and blah, blah, blah. And then you set it up so a day before their check-in, it's like info dump. That way, hopefully they understand all the little ins and outs. Both the houses are tiny and they're old. Yeah. So, and that's another big thing, is like being so honest about everything to expect. The Mulberry house, the one that you'll see next, has really low ceilings and it's near a train track. So yeah. So
is there a certain program you use for that?
It's built in to Airbnb. That's the other thing. VRBO, you can't set it up where it's like, send this out 48 hours before the check-in thing. So I have to
Annually.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
It's a little annoying.
Did you want me to go to the next one?
Oh, sure.
Can you go back? I know I'm kind of interrupted. Can you go back to like some of your expenses? You said like cleaning. How much of the cleaning do you handle? You got a company that comes in?
Oh, this is like one of my favorite parts. I'm like very big on community. And so there's a slide on here. I use Turno. So that is another automation, and it integrates with everything. And so it has your cleaners on there. It does their 1099. You don't have to track it tracks it all. And they're 1099. So then you don't even have to do that paperwork at the end of the year if you're Venmoing them and all that. After hiring a few people directly off their marketplace, just wasn't a good fit. And so I was problem solving, and I live in Olathe and I happen to live in an HOA. And I know there's a lot of stay-at-home moms. And so I put a message out on our little Facebook thing saying, if anyone's needing some extra cash, and relative to what other people pay for cleanings, I pay more, and people do less, because that's another thing I'll tell you about here in a second. But so I have 2 moms from my neighborhood who take these cleanings, and so I put them on the app. So they're like my cleaners now. And then when I get one, I open it and they take it if they can or they can't. So that works out great.
That's awesome.
And then I think I've already mentioned Garrett. So my husband's youngest, my youngest stepson, we are trying to figure out how we can employ him. And so he has been learning how to do the laundry. And so they collect all the laundry and then just bring it back to the porch. And then we do laundry together so he can learn how to do that and then fold it back. It's like those packs that comforters come in. I ordered a bunch of those off Amazon. And so it's like the exact number of towels, washcloths, a rag for the sink, a hand thing for the stove handle, all the sheets and the mattress pad and all that stuff. And so then we fold everything it needs. And then there's an inventory thing on Turno too. So I have all kinds of snacks and all that. And so if certain snacks are running low or they need more toilet cleaner or stuff like that, I'll just put all that on the porch. And it's just nice hiring people right out of my neighborhood, because then we could create that little system.
Sure.
Yeah.
How many extra sets of like bedding and stuff like that do you have per house? I know that, like, talking with people with Airbnbs and stuff, they're like, I have 10 sets of pillowcases. And so they don't have to do as much. But you sounds like your system's pretty set up, so you may not need.
Yeah, well, both the houses are so small that we couldn't fit anything more than a queen bed. That's the thing that surprised me too, with how well they book out. It's just queen beds in both of them, so it all is the same.
Yeah.
So probably 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have quite a few.
Because we just wash it all right away and repack it back up. Yeah.
Do you also find who are your clients? Sort of like traveling business people
sometimes,
or do you find who do you find is renting them out the most?
Everyone. Yeah, it's people traveling for work. I've told someone else in the room this already, but like funerals, weddings, simply just to visit family. Traveling people whose kids are in traveling baseball, traveling basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
People who are just visiting Kansas City because they want to eat barbecue. Anything you can think of.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like the little last minute things are like, we're on a road trip and we just saw your place was open. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You had bad experience, like
a couple.
It can be. It's not just people. They're not available. Someone else is.
I stopped using the people on their marketplace. So I made Turno work for me by finding my own cleaners.
So then if they're not available?
I just always find a way to make it work out. I mean, I'm lucky. They like 95% of the time when I put it out, they take it. If it's a weekend thing and I really can't do it, my husband will go do it. So, yeah, I just always figure out a way to make it work. There's like a very rare occasion where there's not anyone that needs to check in that day. And if I'm just like stressed because there's too much going on, block. It's not worth the $118 to book that night because of everything I have going on, like that kind of thing. So.
Nice.
Yeah. It's also nice when your husband's getting on your nerves and you want a couple nights. You want a couple nights to yourself.
I gotta go check out the Airbnb.
And my husband likes it too. He's like, "Yeah, please go. Take a girls' night."
Any strategies that you use to get 5-star reviews or get higher reviews? I mean, I know you've touched base on a couple of them, like the snacks and following up with people, but anything specific?
I think it is like genuinely liking doing it.
Yeah.
And it is helpful too that like the Olathe one is 5 minutes from our house. So like, for example, say someone is like, I can't figure out how to get because I don't have cable. It's all, streaming stuff. But Ryan put the antenna thing on the TV because people want to watch sports. And I don't know how to use that thing.
Yeah.
So, if I'll FaceTime to like help someone solve a problem. And, if someone says they're coming for a funeral, I'll have an arrangement.
Nice. Okay.
In there, or and I just want people to feel like they're at home. And so there's coffee, sugar, tea, like multiple things to put in all of those to make sure that they're not drinking something they don't actually like.
Yeah.
And then I always have products in the bathroom, and I take into consideration that not everyone has the same hair. A lot of Airbnbs will only have a very particular line of products. That doesn't work for everyone. So I have stuff stocked under the cabinet. So
nice.
Every guest that stays has the products that they need for their hair. Mom energy. That's what it is. Like mom energy all the way.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. And if you wanted to, we can move forward with this too. This is your second one.
Oh yeah. So Mulberry was 101. It is same 20% down with the adjustable rate. It actually does have a real bedroom. And we did get the 20% down on this one by refinancing the other one.
Nice.
We didn't have the cash.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Good.
So that was nice.
That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever, I'm not really jumping ahead. Are you looking at, would you ever go bigger than like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath? Because both of these are pretty small. Have you thought about, what if I go to like a 3-2 or something like that?
I'm not sure. Like the thing that we want to do next is like another little one, maybe 2 bedrooms that's like near some little rinky-dink lake town.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use it for trips, but possibly, but it's not on my radar now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How, if they're sort of going off specifics on the properties, so how do you feel that the short-term rental landscape is changing now, and how are sort of you adapting to that? So I know there's a lot of cities right now that are banning short-term rentals.
I haven't had to adapt. I've like knocking on wood so hard. Like to us, it's kind of been the same. When COVID happened, that was a huge eye opener, because when we were doing the math on these, we were really like, if this doesn't work out and we need to rent it, are we okay? Or if it's not booked, and this was before COVID, if it's not booked, how long can we float the mortgage?
Yep.
You saw the price of these. It was just the mortgage on both of these is under $500.
Yeah.
Like that's just not happening for people anymore. And so that's the thing, or at least not around here.
Yeah.
So I already forgot your question. Will you tell me what you asked?
So what are you seeing with the short-term rental landscape in the Kansas City area? The general, because again, it's going more toward. There's a lot of cities that are looking at banning short-term rentals, like Prairie Village.
We're just like keeping our finger on the pulse of that.
Have you heard anything? Because one's in Olathe and the one's in Loveland Park. You keep track of that pretty heavily, obviously.
Yeah, like we keep our finger on the pulse of it, and we know that there are a lot of people who are pissed off that they even exist. I actually fully understand their anger. Like a lot of the things that people are mad about make total sense, but I don't fit into the category of what makes them mad. So I just kind of, mind my own business and just keep running it. And then if something happens and we can't do short-term rentals, we'll rent them out.
Yeah. Do you have any issues with the neighbors? I'm assuming the neighbors know it's an Airbnb.
Well, the one in Olathe, it's by the train tracks. It's an empty lot next to us and like an overgrown yard behind us. They don't care what we're doing. I don't care what you're doing. Like everyone's just minding their own business. So that's nice. I am befriending the gentleman who owns the empty lot. I really want that. Have you heard of Sniff Spot? You can rent out spaces for people to let their dog run around. You can rent out your backyard on Sniff Spot. It's like the Airbnb of dog parks. So like people who have dog react. But I want that because of the stuff that's going on in Olathe. I want that law.
Yeah.
So I think I totally got off track of your question.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
But with lower rates, a lot of times have place that are not responsible. How do you screen those people?
Yep.
That sounds like what you're just saying. It's like you go with the whole where they don't want an Airbnb. How do you do that?
Yep. So that's been trial and error. And again, that's why I won't ever go under 90. That's for some reason, that's the sweet spot. People are only willing to ruin a house and party if it's under $90 a night. Like that must be the sweet spot for our places. Yeah. But you learn these little signs. So I don't know if it's different for other people, but one of the biggest signs is when it is a local person that rents like a last minute thing. And so when that happens, I call them. My name is Mel. I own that fucking house. What are your plans with it? Like, you can answer my questions if you want to be in my house. And then,
Do you get? Are they like, I don't want to rent it anymore, or like,
no,
they're good?
no, but that I that's mediated the
Yeah,
I
they
haven't had a
understand
problem
quick,
because when I was learning the hard way, for example, like somebody local book, because even though it says this house is not for events, because of the size of the house, like no more than 3 people
Yeah.
can be in it. If you need an exception, please like reach out and let us know. Because if someone's like, I'm in town visiting my family and my aunt wants to come over and have dinner with me, I don't care. Like, just have a human conversation with me so I know what to expect.
Sure.
But sorry guys.
There's reviews on the people too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing, because you give reviews on the people and they review
Yep.
you, right?
But that's the other thing that's a little nerve-wracking when it's like someone who hasn't ever used it before. I'm never I'm not mean. I don't actually call them like cuss or anything, but I
Sure,
I just don't call. I'm not afraid to call. And then if they don't answer, I'll message on the app and just say, hey, I noticed you didn't have reviews. And I'll be honest, like this, this is just, it makes me nervous because da, 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 da. So I would just rather communicate about it up front and make sure we're both on the same page. And people are pretty chill about it.
Good. Do you have cameras outside on the property?
We have a camera at the front and one on like the side where the driveway is, and then in the other house, front and back.
Okay.
And that's all disclosed on there too, that we can see and hear everything you do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yep.
Sort of, do you have other real estate investing goals this year? And then sort of what does your 10-year investment portfolio look like to you?
No, nothing for this year.
Yeah, that's what it's almost
If
the end of the
something
year.
magically happened, I would be happy
Or
about
next year,
that.
we can just, because we're almost in the...
Yeah. Probably to actually use my real estate license to make money. So I can have some to do that little lake house thing.
Okay.
But I'm okay if that even just happens in like the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I would say 10 years. Yeah, I'm reading Small but Mighty right now, so I'm not like done doing all the math, but it's really just enough. That's all I want. I'm not I'm not into fancy cars. I don't want a big house. I like being dirty. I was annoyed I had to wash my hair to come here. Like,
You didn't have to.
So I actually just used dry
Cochran.
shampoo. I
You
didn't
came
even
all
actually
sweaty.
wash my hair. But just enough.
And do you think that you would just stay with short-term rentals, or would you ever go to buy and holds or do any flips or anything? Because you are, you and I have talked a lot about doing flipping and construction and stuff like that. Like, would you ever go into that?
I would.
I mean, when I buy my flip here in the next little bit, you're going to come and help me, right?
No, you guys mark my word. No, I'm telling, because sad story, my dad died. And so I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was just his tool girl. Like, I don't know how to actually do the whole process. Like, and I know that I can do it, but when you're learning on your own, it looks horrible. You do a bad job. And so I'm like, I want him to let me free labor, free experienced labor, and then I'll just pay better attention so I actually know how to do the things.
Soon.
Yeah. So
I'll give you a call.
Yep.
Name a book or podcast, and I'll also add or a app that you would recommend to investors that are out there.
I have an awful memory. So podcasts, there are so many.
Yes.
So I try to do a 2 to 8 ratio of 6 murder podcasts and then 2 investing. So anything Bigger Pockets, obviously.
Biggerpockets.com.
Yeah, anything Bigger Pockets. Gosh, the weird thing is like most of the stuff isn't even fixated on real estate investing. Like all my stuff.
Well, is there a book or a podcast that have sort of changed maybe the trajectory or something like, and it can be anything, right?
Yep.
It doesn't have to be.
So that I can answer.
Yeah.
Mine is like very big, like self-help stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, the reason we aren't doing something is because whatever our freaking hang up is, like Maybe you have low self-confidence. Maybe you are autistic and you didn't know that your whole life. Maybe you're a fucking narcissist. I don't know. But if you figure it out and read a book about how to make that thing less detrimental to your life, then that kind of stuff. So, goodness gracious. There was a book, and that was the thing that planted the seed in my mind about the concept of enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we live in a pretty greedy society.
Yeah.
At least that's my very strong opinion about it. And I was in that mentality of like, how much? A lot of it came from my mama bear energy. I wanted to make sure I could take care of my kid. Yeah. And then, you know, I did end up getting a really good job and made really good money. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
So it was a book about the concept of enough. I don't remember the title. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I listen to Audible nonstop, so that's why I can't remember titles to anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Would you say it was about that? What was it on?
The book, it has the concept of enough.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm like, I'll find it later, and I can send it to you on socials.
Yeah, find it, and you can text me, and I have everyone's email, so I can send it out.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
And then again, what advice would you give to someone looking to start their first short-term rental today?
Do they have money or are they broke?
I'm looking. Whatever advice. Yeah.
Do both?
I want to go out tomorrow and do my first short-term rental. What advice? What advice now that you've done two for many years would you give me?
Just be like really creative, I guess, in your thinking, like very open-minded. Because like even though mine are close, what if the one you can afford is 8 hours away? That can feel really overwhelming, but people manage out-of-state short-term rentals all the time. And if you do your numbers and figure out that you make enough, it's worth it. So I think just that, like being really, really open-minded to the possibility of it happening. I feel like that's such a weird answer, but yeah. Okay.
I think that's great. Yeah. Right on.
And then if you're broke and you really want to get into short-term rentals, do that thing I said at the beginning of like, be willing to like be uncomfortable for a little while, because it's money. Like you just need to acquire money. Now, I have never done hard money lending. I don't really have an interest in doing that. So some people might give that advice. It's an option. So
no, I think that's great. And that's, you hear that from a lot of investors of it's only uncomfortable for that short, in the grand scheme of things, it's uncomfortable for that short amount of time. Make the sacrifices now so you can live.
Oh, I also have good advice. If you want to have a short-term rental, ask me for my referral link.
Well, so, you have
it is on here.
That's the Mulberry House. The earnings and stuff through that.
Oh, yeah. So it's pretty comparable. The rate's the same. It doesn't make as much as the little house, which I actually hadn't done this in a while, so I was surprised. For some reason, I thought this one was making a little bit more, but this one?
8840? Yeah, what was that number?
The 85?
Yeah.
Yeah, the occupancy rate of that one year to date. So they're both at 85.
That's
I think
good.
it means the
the earnings paid.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is sorry. Those are my VRBO earnings, and those are the Airbnb earnings for the Olathe house. So we have the same number of bookings, but we've gotten a lot of long, like 12-day bookings through that. So that's why that one's like a little under 9K. And then that's how many are coming up that haven't been completed yet. But you can tell we don't get booked a lot. Like here, it says we've had 4 bookings. We showed up 1,286 times, 143, but only 4 people have booked. So, but it's fine by me. I'd rather them come in over there.
So then, like your average on that house, like is what?
So that one, let's see here. See, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about $1,000 more. So if I added 1,000 on each and averaged it, so I guess they probably average about the same, like 4. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep.
How are you? How long have you owned these? Sorry.
No, if I remember right, one was 2020, 2021. Not that long. Yeah. No. Nope.
Yeah, you're gonna find it pretty rough. So.
Yep.
Nice.
And the mulberry one was like already
You did 100,
cute. It was
101,
pretty cute when I. Oh, you can tell. All I had to do was take the upper cabinets down, lighten the paint. That one was nothing. That was like relative nothing.
Properties, so you don't make the same mistake.
It's one of my
What makes
self
an excellent
small
location
but
to
mighty.
invest?
I accidentally touched it
There's
because I
some
had.
Cherno stuff
Yeah.
that you put in there.
Oh yeah, so this is the cleaning thing. Just to let you see what I went forward where I hadn't booked any out yet because I didn't want people's names on it. But yeah, see like this one, that'll take them an hour and a half, but I'm paying them $100 because that person was there for 2 weeks. So they might have a little bit extra work. So that's another thing. Just, some people are like, how little can I pay all the people that work for me?
Yeah.
So I make as much profit as that's fine and everything, but get good people and pay them well. They're going to do a better job.
And you, go ahead. Sorry.
Is that like the average?
Well, it depends. So one's been with me longer, so I pay her a little under that. And then the other woman, she's just like a little under the other one, but because I'll bump up the pay like every now and then. No, I actually pay them over my cleaning fee. Mm-hmm.
Do you do?
So some people might not think I'm the best business person, but I'm all right with it.
You only do cleanings right at the end. Like you don't. If someone's staying for 2 weeks, you don't do like I'll clean it after the first week.
No.
Nice.
And both the houses have a little stackable washer and dryer, so that way people can do stuff if they need
And you
to.
have all the cleaning supplies there for
Yep.
them too. So. And there you go. QR.
Well, oh yeah, that's my link tree. So if you have questions, and then I made sure to put the referral link. So if you are going to start a short-term rental, I get a little cut. But like one of my friends who used my referral link, I like gave her 7 hours of consulting to like help her get everything set up and her automated messages and all that stuff. So
Everybody get that. I also put information there. Hopefully that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Giving out your phone number and stuff.
That's okay.
People, so, if you guys want to take a photo of that too. Any other questions for
No.
Mel?
I texted you actually. This is what you were talking about.
Let me look.
Power of it.
Let me see.
That sounds familiar. I've heard of that.
You're going to hate me. I don't know.
That's all right.
Know your
That's all right.
Audible history.
Yeah.
No, that book, the book that I read about like enoughness was a very long time ago. I think that's when I gave up on med
The
school.
book is in the Mulberry House, so you have to book out
Yes.
the Mulberry House to get
Yes.
the book. See, so
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
I
Do I have time to say one more thing?
Yeah.
One big thing about short-term rentals that I think is important is like you got to do something to stand out. I'm slacking on that right now, and I hadn't had the time before, so I'm actually going to convert both yards to like fully native, so it's an experience outside the house. So that is something that I just started doing.
Yeah.
But those little things to make it just even
out.
something little. The little house, the one in Overland Park, that one's got a leg up on the other because it's in an older neighborhood, tons of trees. So there's so many birds and chipmunks and rabbits. And so I leave birdseed and critter food stocked. People love it. They love it. So
There's an Airbnb. I don't think it's in Joshua Tree. An Airbnb, I heard that you sign up and it's an experience, right? So they make it an experience. So when you go, they send you a link like "Welcome to your scavenger hunt," right? And
that's
so,
a whole separate thing.
yeah.
Though,
And so you go in the door and you're like now, and they get the text like, "Here's the code to your scavenger hunt," and you go through the house and they're like and there's like little riddles and stuff, and they go to each room and then they come and they find the secret theater room.
Bless
Like
you.
they don't advertise that they have a giant movie theater in like the basement. And so you open this door and it has like popcorn and candy, and they have an assortment of movies and like people like, and I mean, they did a podcast of it, so now people know. Obviously, I've never been there, but the people that have been there, they don't leave. They don't say it in the reviews, right? But it's all like a community thing. Like everybody keeps it the secret.
Oh, that's cute.
So it's kind of cool. But people like they're booked 100% of the year, and people go
Is that
back
only
multiple
for people
times.
who stay on that one? Because there is Airbnb Experience. Have you guys heard of that?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was just on a podcast, a Bigger Pockets
because
thing. They were
you
talking
like
about
if
it.
you have a talent, like if someone's a photographer, likes to do guided hikes on the prairie or whatever, you make yourself an experience, and people pay you for that. Like there's so many little ways. It's like even if someone has a full-time job, if you want to do something different, put yourself on there on the weekends and take people on a hike.
Yeah.
They'll pay you $100 and start saving that, like that kind of thing.
Well, it's like tips and tricks of like if it's Valentine's Day or if it's Christmas, like people put up Christmas trees in their Airbnb. So you make it, like what you were saying, make the experience so people feel at home.
100%.
So awesome. Yeah, go for it.
Knowing that you have everything right now, if you were able to if you were to lose everything that you own right now, what would you do?
And when you say lose it, like all the houses,
All the houses.
like I got no money.
Sure.
Let's say they got on fire.
I'd have to move in with my mom.
At the same time.
I guess I'd have to move back in with my mom and start all over again.
Like for business wise, like would you go back to a bank or something? I don't know. Like how would you?
Well, obviously, like if there was something like that, we just make sure to have our good insurance on our house to make sure that it's covered. So then once the insurance paid out, we'd have to decide what we were doing moving forward that way. So that's where I always make a question complicated because I'm like, what are all the variables in this?
Yeah.
In this.
Well, would
hypothetical
you
situation.
rebuild and stick and doing Airbnbs
If it made sense
again?
financially.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I love hosting.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yeah.
One last question. You do all the design stuff yourself. Sure, like have you had good experience with furniture, bad? I feel like you need like a happy medium of like something that looks really nice.
Yep.
And also is durable.
Yep. So again, most of the time the guests that we have are just freaking awesome people. People are respectful, they're kind, but stuff does happen sometimes. I'm trying to think of, nothing's ever got ruined. Someone let their dog scratch up the couch and wasn't honest, and it's like a leather couch. So I did the process, which just like any kind of insurance claim, they made it as hard as possible and tried to push back, and I'm just like, no, the insurance thing needs to pay out, the Airbnb insurance, so to replace the leather couch. But I am also a very big nerd about not wasting. I really, really love secondhand. That's a thrill for me, finding high quality stuff on Facebook Marketplace, thrifting, estate sales, to give it character so it doesn't have that stark sci-fi feel. I'm not a fan of going into an Airbnb and being like, am I allowed to sneeze in here? I don't,
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Don't get a whole brand new great thing. Get a great used thing, and then for legal purposes, this has never happened, but say you got a really nice restoration hardware couch that costs $8,000 off Facebook Marketplace for $500, and then that couch gets ruined.
Yeah. You don't feel as bad.
When you get the insurance payout based off of the
It's going on YouTube, that.
that's why I said for legal purposes, it's just an idea, but okay.
Hashtag American Shelter.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much,
Yep.
Mel. So our next Investor League, November 13th, same place, same time. So we're going to talk with Jim Guinness. So he's with Opal C Capital. He does a lot of large multifamily unit syndications, but we're going to talk to him about, he first started going into single family residence when he was starting in investing, and he switched over to multifamily units. So we're going to talk a little bit about that switching. And he built a portfolio of $104 million, all while working 60 hours a week at his job. So he's a good one. Don't miss it. So thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Eat some food.
There's your